welcome back to Chapter Day. Happy Sabbath. Today we are going to be reading Job chapter 35. So I did make those corrections for chapters 33 and 34, like I said I would yesterday. And we were hearing about Job's friend Elihu, who was still kind of reiterating what the other friends had said, that Job was guilty. God does not make mistakes. God is not unjust. And that Job's words were just being spoken out of deceit, that he really was a wicked man and getting his just deserve from God. Okay, let's see what chapter 35 has. Elihu is still speaking. Elihu spake moreover and said, Thinkest thou this to be right, that thou sayest, My righteousness is more than God's? For thou sayest, What advantage will it be unto thee, and what profit shall I have, if I be cleansed from my sin? I will answer thee, and thy companions with thee. Look unto the heavens and see, and behold the clouds which are higher than thou. If thou sinnest, what doest thou against him? Or if thy transgressions be multiplied, what doest thou unto him? If thou be righteous, what givest thou him? Or what receiveth he of thine hand? So in all ways, if you look at it, what good are we to God? In other words, what exactly does God get from us for being good? We can't give God any credit or any, what should I say? We can recompense God for our goodness. Verse 8. Thy wickedness may hurt a man as thou art, and thy righteousness may profit the Son of Man. By reason of the multitude of oppressions, they make the oppressed to cry. They cry out by reason of the arm of the mighty. But none saith, Where is God my Maker? Who giveth songs in the night? Who teacheth us more than the beasts of the earth, and maketh us wiser than the fowls of heaven? There they cry, but none giveth answer, because of the pride of evil men. Surely God will not hear vanity. Neither will the Almighty regard it. Although thou sayest thou shalt not see him, yet judgment is before him. Therefore trust thou in him. Okay, so I guess some of this is to kind of counteract what Job had said prior, that maybe he was not good enough to come into God's presence, that, you know, he may not see God on that day when he talked about when God will call all peoples from whatever part of the earth, and those even who had died from the grave, the good ones, that is. So all he's saying here is that we cannot give God any anything for us being good. Whatever it is we do, God will recompense, and God is just. Okay? That's, to me, that's the entire wrap-up of all of Job's friends in a nutshell. This is what they will say. Verse 15. But now, because it is not so, he hath visited in his anger, yet he knoweth it not in great extremity. Therefore doth Job open his mouth in vain, he multiplieth words without knowledge. So I thought Elihu was really coming to support Job, to kind of defend Job, but I guess he just joined in with the others, that Job was just talking stuff out of anger, and he was still telling lies because what he was saying was not true. He was not righteous in God's sight as far as they are concerned. So God does not hear vain words. Job was a rich man. So in my mind, while he was rich, what did they think about him? His wealth was evidence of his righteousness. Sometimes, you know, we tend to do that as Christians. If we see another brother or sister doing well, we think, well, they're being blessed by God because they're good. And then if we see a brother or sister down in the dumps, going through some tough times, we tend to think, I wonder what he or she did. We do it. We do that. Even though we know better sometimes, we know of the story of Job. We always look on adversity as punishment and on prosperity as blessings. And God only knows. God only knows. We have testing times. What would we have said about Jesus? Jesus said the foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have places to lay their heads, but the Son of Man does not. And we're talking about God who made everything, who has the ability to control everything, and he came to earth here with nothing. So sometimes we may need to rethink our thoughts on what is righteousness represented. What is the representation of righteousness and what is not? Because just like Job's friends, when he was wealthy, I'm sure they thought the best of him. He's a good man. Oh yes, God must favor him. But then now that he's like he is and lost all that he has, they look at him, you are wicked. You must have done some awful things. How many times do we think the same? So may God help us to revamp our thinking to what is, how should I say, through a spirit-filled mind. I think that's what we need most of all. A spirit-filled mind that will help us to see and understand things like Christ does. A God-filled mind. So that's it for today. Again, take your rest. Today is the day for it. This is the only day God has blessed. You can worship any day, any and every day, which we should. But the day that God has blessed and called the Sabbath is today. The seventh day, Saturday, it is no other day. El Sábado and all the other ways they say Saturday is because people know this is the seventh day, which is the Sabbath. So until our next hearing, remember, keep on listening. Our next reading will come, and you take your Bible and go through it whenever you want to. You don't have to wait to hear someone speak unless that's your wish. But remember, that's how our faith grows. So until, take care. Bye.